Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I've been getting a lot of requests lately to talk more about navigating the ups and downs of your 20s. So I thought, why not start a new series? In this series, we'll be diving into the different challenges we all face in our 20s, whether it's money, friendships, relationships, or other big life topics. We're going to tackle it all. Each episode, I'll pick a specific challenge, something that most of us go through during this decade of our life, and we'll break it down. We'll talk about the struggles, the lessons learned, and how to navigate these tricky waters that we call our 20s. Today, we're going to kick things off with a spicy topic, one that's as common as it is controversial: alcohol. Let's be real. Alcohol often plays a big role in our 20s. For many, the relationship with alcohol starts even before you hit 20. It's socially acceptable, sometimes even expected, especially at college or social gatherings. Whether it's a night out, after work drinks, or weekend parties, alcohol is often part of the equation. Let's start with my personal alcohol journey. I didn't really do much alcohol in high school. I was kind of the nerd type, not really into parties or anything that didn't involve school or video games for the first 3 years of high school. I was always a quieter kid and stuck mainly to who I knew from my hometown. Senior year, things started when I started actually making more friends, which took me a while. Eventually, I was introduced to the world of alcohol, and I dove right in. Sneaking alcohol into water bottles, UV Blue and Gatorade, going to concerts, etc. There was almost this thrill of it being new, adventurous, and even illegal at the time. Then in college, the alcohol use escalated. I went to a Big Ten party school. Weekends pretty much revolved around it. The fraternity culture was heavy. I'm talking about drinking games, seeing who could drink the most or drink the fastest. It basically dominated social life. It was much harder to make friends without it. In fact, I hardly knew anyone who didn't do it, and who didn't do it a little bit excessively. In college, alcohol can almost feel like a rite of passage. It's everywhere. Parties, sporting events, even casual hangouts. For many, it's how we bond with new friends or let loose after a stressful week of classes. I can thank alcohol for many of the friends and fun memories I've made to this day. As a consequence of this, my social life got a lot better during that time despite many of the negative effects. There were definitely times when it was overdone. Drinking was most people's hobby, and not much got accomplished during weekends, even during busy study times. I'm sure I would have gotten better grades and been a lot healthier if I did it more casually. I got one ticket for drinking, but other than that, nothing major bad happened to me, which I would consider very lucky. Lots of bad things can happen, and I've seen people hurt themselves, go to the hospital, make bad decisions, get in fights, or get in trouble with the law many, many times. It must be done carefully, and you should really know what you're signing up for by participating in drinking culture. There's always trouble, especially late in the night when most people are intoxicated. In college, you almost get a pass for being an idiot with alcohol. It's widely accepted to use, even though I'm not sure that's a good thing. If you see a drunk 21-year-old on a Tuesday night, you assume, oh hey, they must be having fun in college. But if they're now 29, you might think it's time for them to start getting their act together. After college, my drinking began to change a little bit. I was dating someone at the time and drank a lot less than I normally did. Going out twice a week suddenly became once a week, suddenly became once a month. Half of the draw of alcohol is being a social lubricant and helping you to meet people or find someone to date. And without that prospect, drinking heavily seemed to just have less of a benefit. Then COVID hit. I would mark this as my transition to much more casual drinking. I was around 25 at the time. It was a lot more just drinking while you're playing video games or drinking with your family, because obviously during COVID, all the bars and restaurants were closed. Now in my life, I don't drink super often. I let loose once in a while, usually in the summertime or for special occasions like weddings or bachelor parties, but it's nowhere near as common as it used to be. It's much more casual now, a drink with dinner, having a glass of wine with the lady, or a beer during the Packer game, or even during a gaming session with the boys. I've noticed that alcohol really changes as you're going from your early 20s to your late 20s. Looks very, very different. As we move through our 20s, something shifts. Hangovers get worse, your health starts to feel the impact more, and suddenly you're not bouncing back as you used to. In college, you'd be able to go out well into the morning and then wake up early and study like normal. That's just not possible now. Plus, as you start taking your career more seriously, you might find those late night drinks aren't worth the rough mornings. On rare times when I do have a heavy drinking night Saturday night, my work often suffers in Monday and into the next week. One-day hangovers become two-day hangovers. Borrowing fun from the next day is really a real thing as you get to be in your late 20s. For some in their late 20s, alcohol becomes much more casual. Glass of wine after work, beer with dinner. For others, it just takes a back seat as priorities change, with relationships, career goals, and personal health often become more important, and alcohol use decreased as a result, and I've noticed that in my life as well. The goal when you were in your 20s was binge drinking, especially early on, but now it's just to kind of relax. Overall, I'd say less alcohol has increased the quality of my life, especially as I get closer to 30. I just simply can't deal with the crazy hangovers the way I used to, or deal with the stress of saying something dumb or making a dumb decision. Not to mention saving money in this economy. Sometimes I wonder if life would have been better if I never got into it the way I did when I was in my late teens and early 20s. I'm not sure I ever had a problem with it, but definitely would say I got close to that, especially in my early 20s. I've always questioned things like why alcohol is so encouraged, as even today it seems a little awkward to go to events and not have a drink. I wish this wasn't the case, but it definitely is, especially in my home state. Let's talk about relationships and alcohol. People often go out to socialize, and if you're single, trying to meet someone to date. Alcohol often helps with removing social anxiety with trying to meet new people. I was an introvert, and so alcohol helped me kind of become more talkative. When you have met that lucky lady or lucky man, it becomes a lot less worth it to go out and meet people. Many people seem to tone it down or just stop completely. Instead of going out to the bar to dance and be social, drinking is just a much different dynamic. As we get older, many of these other dynamics change. You might just find you're less interested in being friends with people who drink heavily, or maybe you're just reassessing your own drinking habits because of the people in your life. Relationships with both significant other and friends definitely influence how you view alcohol and how much you consume. The people you could count on to go out for drinks with you 1 minute suddenly become much less available as serious relationships develop, or even when people have families. People begin to prioritize other commitments, which is a healthy evolution of alcohol use throughout your 20s. So, there you have it. These are my thoughts. Our first deep dive into one of the challenges we face in our 20s. Alcohol can be fun, and I'm happy for the memories and friends and experiences it gave me, but it's important to recognize when it's taking more from your life than it's giving. Definitely be careful out there, and don't let it run your life, especially after college. I hope this gives you some food for thought. In the next episode, we'll be tackling another big topic, whether it be finances, friends, dating, whatever we want. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.